面ライダーアギト君のままで変わればいい Here we go カンゼロ仮面ライダーアギト今君がいないとゲット走り出した行くべき道を情熱のベクトルが僕の胸を貫いてゆくどんな危険に傷つくことがあっても夢よ踊れこの星の下で憎しみを映し出す鏡なんて壊すほど夢に向かってまだ不器用でも生きている激しさを体中で確かめたい広がる宇宙の中 Can you feel 小さな星の話をしよう Tell me the truth 信じてた未来が崩れ去ろうとしてる悲しみを繰り返し僕らはどこへ行くのだろう今一人一人の胸の中目を覚ませた Time to go 強くあるためにまた守ること戦うことジレンマは All around 走り続けても It's just like story
Hey, hello everybody, welcome to the stream. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure we actually finished the Fi's theme song before we actually started. But yeah, tonight we are actually doing a build stream. We're going to be building the Figurized Standard Master Rider Kuuga. Or Kamen Rider Kuuga is what it's supposed to be called, but yeah. This is actually going to be used as a custom later, but for who that's going to be, that's... I'll just say that the VTuber I'm going to eventually customize this as after I'm done with this build, he voiced Deadpool, and I'm pretty sure that's enough of a clue. Now, this is not my first Kamen Rider model kit. It's my first Figurized Standard Kamen Rider model kit, but it's not my first Kamen Rider model kit overall. Because I have built some of the blockies, and I have a few of them here. This was actually my first one, and I got like the rarest drop in that first wave box. This is, of course... yeah, sorry. My brain is going blank because it's been a long day. I believe this is Gates. Yeah, it's kind of hard for me to remember all the names of the Kamen Riders because I got into Kamen Rider about the Decade era, and about Wizard was when I started dropping off. I do have Super Climax Heroes on the Wii. I had to use a SD card to actually jailbreak my Wii to do that. Kind of see it actually has a cloth scarf, but this is not wired. It's just cloth. It also has an effect part, and I have my blacklight here. Yeah, look how that glows. Okay, it might be hard to see on the camera because my camera's a piece of crap, but the second one I got, and since these are blind boxes, I don't have any control what I get. Kamen Rider Skull's motorcycle, again from Double. Again, the effect piece actually glows. Unfortunately, I have tried to get a Kamen Rider actually ride on this thing, and it doesn't really work, because I have 3 of these Blockies kits. The third one being Double's Fang Joker form, and the purple does kind of glow. And that's all for Blockies, but I have built one more. I have built this one. This one was kind of a pain in the ass because can't move that shoulder because that ball joint is really tight on, and the belt does kind of fall off every so often. And it's a nice kit overall when it looks like, but some joints are really tight, some joints are really loose. We are getting retooled parts for this. No idea when those are actually going to be released, but they have been updating us that there will be retooled parts. Of course, the red glows. Kind of hard to see on camera, but they do glow. And of course, because she's basically based off of Thighs, she also has the motorcycle. I'm keeping in robot mode. This is a really nice model kit here. Unfortunately, this piece right here is a really hard pain in the butt to transform. There's actually the hinge part of it snapped, but it actually made it a lot easier to transform. And again, the red does kind of glow. And speaking of motorcycles, not Kamen Rider related, but I did recently finish this. This is the 30-minute missions motorcycle that was just recently put out. I panel lined it. I added some extra detail paint. Silver on the swords, that's a Gundam marker. Silver on the gas canister. All the blue is, of course, blacklight paint. And I also used Citadel gemstone paint on the dashboard there. So yeah, enough show and tell. Let's get on with this already. As you can see, I have my instructions here. I have my part separator here on my little mechanical hand. This is only here for display purposes. I'm not going to touch the stickers. I just have them out here for whatever. I also have a soul gem. Got this at a convention last year. I use this to store like the extra hand parts and whatnot. I actually used this to store all of my custom Bow the Whale parts when I was building her because I was still waiting for pieces to come in over time. See, I have my double-bladed nippers here. Got my single-bladed nippers, which, let's get the case off. Also got my X-Acto knife, and I normally don't wear these, but on stream, so I don't get junk in my eyes, I'm going to be putting on safety glasses for safety reasons. A little blurry in the center, but other than that, it's still pretty clear to see through. Okay. First things first. Where is the instructions on... Ah, there it is. Yeah, sometimes it's a little hard to get the Bandai instructions to open up. We're going to start with the stand first, so that way if we do not finish on stream, we at least have something to put the pieces on. You see I also have a runner rack over here. Just a little cheap one I got at Hobby Hut. No, wait, Hobby Lobby. Hobby Hut was the hobby store that used to be here that closed down, unfortunately, a few years back for reasons that were outside of anyone's control. Yeah, with clear plastic, I just cut with double-bladed nippers and don't really do much else other than that. The reason for that is, well, of course, clear plastic is really bad on single-bladed nippers. Like, it will dull the blade a lot. Double-bladed nippers can get through clear plastic a lot easier. Let me see. No one in the chat yet. Oh, I'm hitting the camera stand here. Yeah, it's just a single arm camera. Pretty cheap one, too. Let me see. How does this work? Oh, wait. Okay, so this one, then this goes right here. Whoa. That's supposed to be a ratchet joint, but that feels way too tight to be a ratchet joint. Okay, part 3. Kind of hard to see on the clear plastic what part 3 is. Clip, clip, clip. Don't worry, I have someone upstairs doing stuff, so I don't really have control over that. Okay, I think this goes here. We have to pop this out and put it there. It feels like this is supposed to rotate, but it's really tight, locks in place. Good for being secure, but not very good for rotation. We get this piece out like so. Okay, I need to adjust my safety glasses here because, oh my gosh, they're starting to fog up. I have them too close to my head. Okay, it needs to be... Okay, so goes like this. And then we put it in the base like so. These pieces are saved for later. So we're going to just clip off the excess and get rid of it. Let me see. Snip here, snip here, snip here. Kind of the thing you should do with spare parts is keep them on the runner so you don't lose them, but clip off any empty section so it doesn't take up so much space in the box. Oh. Okay, so we have most of the base. There is one piece we still need, and that is on runner A, and we need A32. There it is. So we gotta pop this piece off right here. Go in with the single blade nippers first. And slide that back in our... And then we take the double-bladed nippers to clean that off. Snip. 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 Okay, so now we have the base fully assembled, so that way if we have anything that we have left over, we can just put it there. Okay, now we gotta find where section 1 on the instructions is. Okay, so we start right about here with the head. Okay, let's see. We need A and C2. So A, B1, B2, C1, C2. Oh, that's D2. Okay, this must be C2. That's C2, all right. Okay, so we need 11. Okay, there's 12, there's 11. And just so you know, we will be doing the Rising Titan form because I think that's more visually appealing than the standard version. Yeah, and unfortunately the problem is that once you start monkeying around with the runners, they start falling off. Let me see, we need 26 and 27. I'm not going to put the stickers on yet, although it does show to put some stickers on for the underneath the eyes, because I do plan to paint this later. Yeah, so we're just doing a straight build, no stickers. Okay, now we clean these off. Gotta be careful. I don't want to accidentally cut off something I'm not supposed to. Fairly clean. I'm not seeing any stress marks so far. We're doing this correctly so far. Black plastic does stress mark quite a bit if you're not careful. But if you go slow, take it easy, should do fine. This is also pre-painted gold. A lot better than just gold cast plastic. I was noticing that when I was taking the runners out, that this is actually pre-painted plastic, not molded. So as you can see, sometimes when you cut, it will actually leave marks. I should be able to fix that with some Gundam marker, though. I think I should be able to anyway. Okay, need to see where I'm at here. Okay, we put that there. Put this here. And we got part of the head taken care of. Now we need 34. 34 is right here. So single blade. I mean, the double blade first. Snip, snip, snip. And 2, which is clear plastic, so we're going to be a little bit more careful. Because got to just snip it right off because it's a very brittle plastic. There we go. I'm guessing this is going to be his effect piece. Also, I'm pretty sure some might be wondering when they're watching this, am I going to try to get the Nuke Matrix Cyclone Hopper? I am considering it. I know it just recently came out. I saw some reviews. It looks pretty good, but no plans to get it just yet. Maybe this weekend, who knows? Okay, so we slide his mouthpiece in like so. And wait a minute. Ah, there it is. There's his eyes. Put his eyes in like so. It's kind of hard to see because we don't have the stickers on, but since we're painting this later, I don't want to put the stickers in just yet. Now, I believe we need this runner for the crest. Where? I know I saw it. There it is. Snip. 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 Cut that a little too close. And then we clean this off very carefully. Don't want to accidentally trim off too much. And then we stick it onto his face like so. Hang on. Yeah, I had to bring it up to my face so I could actually see the angle I was getting it at. There we go. Got his head. I'll just mount it right here for now because it's not a spare piece, so we don't need to do that. Okay, so next up is the torso. It seems as if we have a choice of how we can build, because this is where we choose which we want, is the Titan or Rising Titan. We're going to go for the Rising Titan, of course, but we are also going to build the Titan pieces just to get them out of the way. because my runner caught the other runner, so I gotta put this back where I had it. There we go. Okay, so 14 and 13. There they are. Oh wait, I have my double blade. I have my single bladed. I need my double bladed. Snip, 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 snip. A little too close there. There we go. It's worth mentioning I do have some other kits on order. For example, I do have some parts for my 2.0 model because my 1.0 model has to be retired soon enough. I also have a few 30-minute sister pieces on order that I'm still waiting on. And I also have a Nuke Matrix kit on order as well. I also have a kit on my shelf right now that I'm not touching because I'm thinking about using it for another build stream. No confirmation if I will use it or not, but okay, let's see. So it goes like this and like this, and that is how we get this piece in. Okay, I'm gonna need to, not sure if I brought this up, but this is right over here. This right over here is my 3D printed headphone stand. Okay, so we are going to need 21. Wait, where did I put the runner? Okay, 21. There it is. Oh, wait. Put down the single blade, do the double blade. Snip, snip. Okay. I am currently getting close to figuring out what's wrong with my PS3 capture because, as I said before, I was having a lot of trouble with that. Audio is really messed up. Okay, we got the ball joint in like so. Feels okay. Doesn't feel too tight. Feels tight enough that it's going to hold its pose, but yeah. As I was saying, I'm getting a little closer to figuring out what's wrong with the PS3's capture on my capture card. Once I do... Oh, hi there. Yeah, as I said, I got into Decade, so Kuuga is not like the one I'm most familiar with, but I did like this design, and I did decide to go with it. But I'm having some fun with this kit so far. Let me see. 31. Where is the 31? 31. There it is. Oh, wait. Double-bladed nippers for releasing it from the runner. It looks like most of what we're going to be needing is from A, so we're just going to leave it out like this. Yeah, as I said, once I get my PS3 fixed up and ready for streaming, I may just run Legend of Dragoon. I have a physical copy of that. I am definitely thinking about running Legend of Dragoon for a stream one of these days. Another thing I want to try to run... Yeah, Decade was kind of a really crazy place to start, but at least it gets you familiar with the entire, that whole era of riders, at least. Yeah, I might also consider if I can get my jailbreak to work on my Wii, Might run some Super Climax Heroes. Okay, yeah, that is 22. I felt it was the same shape, so. I cut the thing off with my my single blade. I also have a Deca driver and a ride booker. Unfortunately, what they say about the Deca driver is true. Never leave the cards in, or else you're going to mess up the driver. And yeah, it does mess up the driver a lot, because when you leave the card in, it ruins that little tab inside the driver that detects if there's a card in there or not. So the card reader doesn't work properly. It's something I noticed on TG Omega's videos too, because his also did the exact same thing when he reviewed the anniversary edition of the Deca driver. And I do have, and as I said, I also have the Ride Booker, which was actually a pretty nice little thing too to go with it. I do not have all the cards though, because here's the thing: you get all 10 cards, of course, but I only had I think I have the Slash card with the Ride Booker, and then I got the Final Attack Ride Kiva figure, which came with the Final Attack Ride card. But that's about it for the Kamen Rider cards I have for the Deca driver, whereas the Anniversary Edition had all the cards, including the ones from after the show. Okay, so 24... Oh, wait. Always remember to use your double-bladed nippers for cutting out of the... And 28 is right here. No, wait, that's 29 I'm cutting out. I need 28's right here, because I had it upside down. Yeah, I am saving a special little kit for if I do a collab with other VTubers for build streams. I'm not going to say what kit it is, but it's definitely going to be interesting. I got this kit off of Amazon. Bandai released a lot of model kits for Kamen Rider. They don't have all the Kamen Riders yet, but they do have quite a few. Same with Blockies, because Blockies also does a lot of Kamen Rider model kits. I actually saw one for the OG Rider too, which basically that one, the Blockies kit is still like the little blind box size. It's the like chibi blind box sized kit, but it has not only the original Kamen Rider, but also has his motorcycle. Okay, I'm screwing up here. I gotta line up the pins and make sure they're nice and secure in there. So yeah, we got part of the torso. Yeah, currently you can get model kits from Bandai, and you can get model kits from Blocky for Kamen Rider. And of course, again, I use my single blade. I have to use double blade to snip it out first. You can also look at the import sites. In store, that just really depends on what model kit stores you go to, because I know a lot of places that sell Gunpla and stuff, they might carry Kamen Rider kits, or you can possibly order it from them. But again, it just depends on what's in stock. That's basically for any model kit places, that you just have to hope they have the stock in. Because I went on Amazon to buy this. Yeah, there's actually 201s for the Bandai line, and that's they have a standard version, and they have like and they have an entry grade, which is non-articulated. It's just a static model kit. And as for Phis, I do believe they have a few Phis in the Bandai line. And I also showed off earlier the unofficial Kamen Rider Phis girl I have. And this thing is, I really would recommend waiting for the second run for this when they have the better ball joints and whatnot, because some of this is loose, some of this is way too tight. I would be very careful if you build this. And I'm also really stoked I was able to get the rare variant from the Blockies blind boxes for this model kit. Blockies, of course, is also something you're going to be a little tricky getting, because in the US, the only Blockies you're ever going to find are going to be the Transformers. If you're going to find like the Kamen Rider or the Saint Seiyas or the Super Sentais, you're going to have to find an import site that can do that. AliExpress is usually a pretty good place for Blockies if you're trying to get the import stuff. But if you're getting Transformers, you can find it pretty much locally. I mean, I was able to find Blockies at like Walmart. Yeah, so you can just go on Bandai's website and see what model kits they have so far for Kamen Rider, because it is part of their Figurized standard, which is basically their basic stuff. Yeah, I haven't watched full series, but I have watched most of Decade. I've watched a bit of Double. I want to see all of Double, and I want to see the anime and adaptation of Double, but I haven't been able to find a way to watch that yet. I've seen clips of a lot of the other Kamen Riders after. I've seen clips of oh my gosh, Saban's Masked Rider. I've seen clips of that. I've seen the figures on shelves back in the day. That would, oh my gosh, we should not talk about Saban. I've also seen a few episodes of Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, which was 4Kids' attempt to bring Kamen Rider to the US. It wasn't bad. Unfortunately, by the time I found out, they were airing reruns. The show had already ended, and I was only able to catch a few episodes before they just took it down. I have seen clips of it. I've seen how that ends. I do feel like they shouldn't have did the whole aliens angle. I mean, they did still do the mirror universe thing, but again, shoehorning the aliens just made it so cliche. Because it was clear that they were just bringing over Kamen Rider to compete with Power Rangers at that time, because, again, it was for kids bringing over Dragon Knight. But I also really liked how Dragon Knight actually did Ryugi a lot better, because it still was the death sport, but it was like someone controlling it from behind the scenes to get all these Kamen Riders to fight each other to take them away from the main villain's plot. Whereas the original series was just Fate Stay Night with Kamen Riders, even down to the really cheesy-looking CG dragon. Okay, so now that we got the torso, or at least the inner joints of the torso, we now have to do the inner workings of the torso. Let's see, we are doing the Titan Rising, which needs 4 and 3 from this. But we're also going to just build the standard Titan form, just to have it on hand for later. But this is the one we're going to be focusing on, is the Titan Rising, because I think it just looks a lot better. Yeah, this plastic feels a lot tougher, so I have to be a lot careful. Yeah, Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, it was at least a better attempt at adapting Kamen Rider to the US than Saban's Masked Rider was, because Saban's Masked Rider, yeah, that was interesting. I mean, they kept the grasshopper theme in Saban's Masked Rider, but it did not translate well. I mean, they could have done better. I mean, look at Big Bad Beetleborgs. That was really nice. And I've seen a lot of VR Troopers. VR Troopers, that was also a pretty interesting show when you watch that. Let me see. This is one. And of course, VR Troopers is now on Tubi, as well as Big Bad Beetleborgs. I really need to get around to watching that again. Interestingly enough, I have a promo VHS of Big Bad Beetleborgs. It was a pre-release of the Curse of the Shadowborg arc. And like periodically when you watch it, it says this VHS is meant for... Oh, crud. I got this wrong. I actually was not supposed to cut these pieces. There was a different set of pieces I was supposed to cut. Okay, that is... Let me see. Because I was looking at the wrong set. Because I have G24. Wait a minute. I think I might have screwed up here. Yeah, I screwed up here because I cut out the wrong pieces. This is C2. Yeah, these pieces aren't even supposed to be cut out. I mistakenly cut out the wrong pieces. Sorry. Yeah, at least we're getting the actual shows aired in on YouTube for people who've never seen it outside the outside Japan. Okay, so what I was supposed to cut out was actually... Okay, this is... Okay, here we go. These are the pieces I was supposed to cut out. And I'm using my single-bladed nippers when I'm supposed to be using my double-bladed nippers. Yeah, so I cut out the wrong torso pieces that time. That was my bad. Because I was assuming I was cutting out the right pieces, but no, I wasn't. Let's see, I1. These are the pieces here I'm supposed to be cutting out for the trim. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that as I continue, I'm just going to be making more and more of a mess because now I'm just not even putting the runners back in the rack like I'm supposed to. I'm just casting them aside just to get through this as quickly as possible. Also, I do believe part of the reason why Super Sentai has ended is because they're trying to rebrand for a global market, because now they're trying to cut the umbilical from Power Rangers, which is understandable because unfortunately a lot of their toy sales were tied to the success of Power Rangers, and now Bandai wants to do their own thing, and I mean Hasbro wants to do their own thing, and Bandai's kind of losing money on that. Not that there's anything wrong with that, it's just that the fact that they were so tied together for so long definitely hurt both series as a result when one wants to try to leave the franchise. Which is what Hasbro is doing, is just basically saying, yeah, we want to do our own thing and not do Super Sentai anymore. And Super Sentai kind of has to pivot to match that. Yeah, and also, I was really into Power Rangers back in the day, too. I have a Masterpiece Dragon Zord. Oh, I don't think it's called Legacy Dragon Zord, which is die-cast metal and all that stuff. Have to be kind of careful with it because that thing is heavy. I do have like the 2010 reissued Megazord because it's the Legacy Megazord was basically the same sculpt. It was just without the die-cast. Yeah, Saban's Masked Rider was terrible. It was clear that Saban's attempt at Masked Rider was just them trying to phone it in as best as they can, but they didn't really understand exactly how to get Kamen Rider to work in the US. Snip, snip, snip. At least 4Kids at least understood the assignment, even if they didn't do a perfect job. It was at least a little better. It was at least better than the Saban attempt. Okay, so we got Kuuga's torso. So now we pop on the head. Fairly snug on there, but other than that, I'd say we got it pretty good so far. And we still need that little bit in the waist. Okay, so now that we're done with that, we're going to build the other section, which is the standard version. Which, let's see, I'm going to cut these pieces out. Because we can build the standard version parts, we just can leave them off to the side after we're done building them. Yeah. I am also very much aware, people know me for all of my little VTuber builds. As I said, I recently finished my VTuber build of Bow the Whale and Buff Pup. I've also said which VTuber this is going to be after I'm done building it because I'm planning to paint this up and customize it. I'm also having plans for other VTubers later. For example, I have a model kit on order for Cottontail. And I also have a model kit in mind for Porcelain Maid. It's not out yet. I believe it's supposed to be out by the end of the month, if I read my release schedule properly. I'm also going to need to get a costume for it too, because it's just a blank body. Okay. There is a bit of metallic sheen to this purple here. I'm not sure if it comes out on camera, but these pieces right here do have kind of a metallic sheen to them. Might have to, when I do paint this, maybe I'll have to do a gloss coat or a semi-gloss coat to keep that shine. Okay, I think we got that cleaned up. Now I gotta do these pieces. Yeah. The thing about Bandai kits is just, they're really easy to build. I mean, they're not beginner level, especially when you get into some of the more complicated stuff like Master Grade and Perfect Grade. I've never built Perfect Grade, but I have built Real Grade, though. At least 2 kits of Real Grade, 2 Master Grades, a lot of high grades, lots of 30-minute missions, lots of 30-minute sisters. Well, a ton of 30-minute sisters, actually. I've built at least 2 30-minute fantasies, and I do have 2 more 30-minute fantasy kits on order right now. I'm just waiting for one to ship, and the other one should be here this weekend. I need the part separator because I didn't line up the pegs right. Okay, I just need to get that little flat piece in there. Rotate. Okay, now we can get the pegs lined up. There we go. Yeah, always good to have a part separator on hand in case you screw up. Let me see. Yeah, that does go there. That goes right in there. And then we could just clip this together, pop the collar on, and put this over in the spare parts bin. Yeah, I told you that's why this. I said earlier in the stream, that's why I have the soul gem out. It's just to store the extra parts when I don't need them. Okay, so we need. I have to be very careful because there is quite a bit of how this changes depending on how you build it. So we need. Okay, I had to see the instructions here to see what order I'm supposed to be building this in. Okay, we need G3, 5. Okay, we're gonna snap these pieces out like so. Okay, C2, 13. I had C2 out here earlier. Okay, C2, 13. I'm only seeing 12. Where's 13? There's 13. And we also need 5. So we need 5. Snip, snip, snip. It says to put a sticker on this, but I said I'm painting this, so we're not going to put the sticker on. Snip, snip. Oh, we also need B1, 3. And this is the piece that we cannot replace. Basically, once we put this onto Rising Titan, we can't put this on Titan mode. This is the one we're going to have to swap out. Much like the inner structure inside the torso. But at the very least, when swapping out the torso, it's just 2 pieces you have to sandwich together, so it's kind of easy to swap. This one seems like it's going to be a bit harder to swap out because of that one piece. So we're going to snip that off like so. Snip, snip, snip. Okay, let's see. Gotta make sure we line this properly. Okay. So the tab goes in like so. I believe that's right. This goes on like so. Oh, we also need to clean this off. Snip, snip, snip. There we go. Gotta be out like this. Tab out like so. And there we have the arm. Okay, let's see. Let's also build the other arm so we can just get that out of the way. We need B, C, we need D2, and we need part 7. So snip, snip, snip. C2, 5. So we need, wait a minute. Oh, they both need C2, 5. Okay, so that's another piece that is taken over here. So we need C2, 12 for this. So snip, snip, snip. Okay, so there's a lot more shared parts in the arms than I thought there were. Snip, 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 and no, wait. Bit of a bit just got in there. Okay, so let me see. Goes in like this. That's all that we have for Titan mode, so throw that in there. Okay, so we need G3, 2. So this is C2. We need G2. Oh, wait. G2 is for Titan mode. We need G3, which, let's see, I believe G3 was in here somewhere. Let's see. Okay, there we go, G3. So we need G3, 2, which is right here. Snip, snip, and oh, get in there. Snip. Oh, bubble in that runner. Snip. Oh, I was cutting the lower one. Okay, we need I2, which are right here. Snip, 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 snip. And sometimes they're so loosely attached to the runner that sometimes the bits just fall right off. And we need G3, F3, 18. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. That doesn't feel right. Okay, I have I cut off I2. I need I1, which is right here. Yeah, when you have runners that are the same shape but different colors, sometimes you'll mix them up. So it's a good idea to double check before assembling so you make sure that you don't screw it up. So now that we got the shoulder, clean this off. Snip, snip. Oh, that just fell right off. Snip, snip, snip. Okay, so it goes on like so. We also need I15, which is this little piece right here. So snip, snip, snip. I think I'm just gonna focus on just the Titan Rising parts because we're already pushing the hour mark and I don't want to push this build too late. Okay, so it goes like... Oh, crud. I assembled this wrong. Let's get that part separator here. supposed to put this piece in first, like so, and then we put this piece over, like so. There we go. And we need F3 18. So F. Oh crud. I'm making a mess here. Okay, that's F3 18. So yeah, here it is. Snip, snip, snip. Get this out of the way. Okay. Doing a little bit better now that I know what I'm looking for, but unfortunately I'm still making a few mistakes here and there. Okay, so this slides on like so. So now I put that in backwards because it's actually supposed to go this way. Let me see, I gotta make sure I got the tabs lined up. Yeah, that's how it's supposed to go. So we need F3, 12, 13, and 14. I believe F3 was right here. 12, 13, and 14 are right there. So snip, 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 snip. And when we assemble the other arm, it should go a lot faster because a lot of mirrored parts here. Excuse me there. I had to cough for a bit. Okay. And since one of them has a stem on it, we should be able to figure out which piece goes in first because there is an order we have to put these in. So 14 and 12 goes in like that. Okay, we got that. I don't know, that doesn't look right. Yeah, it's supposed to be up at an angle. And then we clip 13 over it like so. And then we clip on the pad like, hang on. I need to look closely at this or else I'm going to break something if I don't pay attention. There we go. I believe that's in there like it's supposed to. There we go. Now we pop that shoulder in like so. Now we need B1, 1, 2, and 6, which B1 is right here. Okay, we're not going to even try to organize this anymore. Okay, so we need 1, 2, and 6, which are right up here. Weird how 1, 2, and 6 are just like up here. So there we go. We're getting closer to finishing our arm here. So, okay, gotta be careful not to snip the peg off because there is a peg we have to preserve. Okay, snip, snip, snip. And of course a snip, snip, snip. And finally snip, snip, snip. Oh, got a little bit stuck in the blade there. Okay, so this goes on like so, and like so. Oh, I got my gloves stuck in there. Okay, there we go. And then we stick the arm in like that, and hang on, we need B18. Oh, that's weird. Oh wait, double blade for removing from frame. So we're going to snip that off. Yeah, this is taking a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. Because I honestly thought this would take a full hour to build the whole body, and even when we add the Titan stuff on, but no, just getting this far was just an hour. But turning out pretty good so far. Okay, now for the hand. Oh, I got my finger caught in there. We need his hands. Where are his hands? Okay, we need 10, which is right here. Snip that off, snip. Oh, wait, that's, gotta be careful. I have to pay attention to where my ball joint is. And snip this off. Snip this off. Let me see. We need I19. There's I1. There's 9. Let's get that snipped off real quick. 1, 2, 3. Ah, that popped right off because it wasn't really attached on too well. Okay, now we got that. We pop this on the back of his hand like so. Okay, let's pick that there. And now we have one arm done. Now we gotta do the other arm, which is about the same. Let's see, we need... Okay, we're gonna need this piece, because I remember that we're needing this piece. Because now we know what pieces we're looking for each of the pieces, each of the arms. Okay, snap that. And we need... Okay, this is the part that's going to be interesting because I need to figure out... Oh, not even attached. Okay. Yeah, as you can see, once we know what pieces we need for what side, it gets a lot easier. Okay, this one needs B2, so we're going to snip, snip. Oh. Okay. I felt that fall over here somewhere. Ah, there it is. Figured it didn't go far. Okay, snip that, that, and that. We're also going to need 3 and... I am just quickly checking to see. We need 8 and 3. Just want to make sure I have the right pieces cut out. Okay, we need the F runner, which I believe, yeah, no, wait, this is B1. We need F3, which gives us this, and the other shoulder. And so once we know what shapes we're looking for, we're pretty golden so far. Yeah, so I'm going to try to breeze through this as quickly as possible, because we're already at the other arm, and then we just have the legs and the weapons, and then we'll be done. Although I'm guessing it's probably going to take another hour to do so. And hopefully this time we won't accidentally cut out the wrong parts. I will just leave the regular Titan pieces for later, because quite frankly, building both is just taking way too much time. Way too much time. Okay, we already cleaned that off. Little bit that we can throw away there. Yeah, I also haven't cut out the other piece for the back of the hand, because I'm not sure which of the back of the hand pieces we're going to need for this just yet, because there's a few of them. Okay. Doop. And doop. I'm really pleased how this is not marking too well, because black plastic is well known for marking a lot when you're snipping it off. But I'm not seeing too many stress marks, but then again, these aren't my normal lighting conditions, so maybe they're not showing up too well on camera or in front of me. Maybe if I get in a different light, they'll just be glaring at me. But so far, I'm not seeing any stress marks as I cut the black plastic. Okay, that's that. Okay, there's that. Okay, we already cleaned that part off. We snip this. Snip right here. Be careful not to get those tabs. Oh. Okay, I think I didn't get close enough on that. There we go. Had to make sure I got all that little nub off, or else it wasn't going to fit properly. And there we go. Now let's actually get to the building. Because now that we actually have built one arm, the other arm should go a lot simpler. If I can get the pieces to line up correctly. Okay, what am I doing wrong here? Okay, where am I going wrong here? Oh, there we go. Got that in. Okay, where is the shoulder? Gotta make sure I got this right. Okay, there we go. And then this piece right here, like so. I am going to just stick this on the shoulder so I don't have to worry about that. Then slide this in place like so. Shoulder in place. It really looks nice when it's not painted yet, does it? Okay, so we need, and I realize I haven't cut certain pieces out yet. Okay, so we are going to need, oh wait, That's not the runner I need. What I need is right over here. So I need... that just flew right off. Need that taken care of. This taken care of. Felt a little bit of plastic hit my chin. I think I'm wearing safety glasses. Okay, so I need to figure out where that one piece I need is. Oh wait, it would be purple. So I'm guessing it would be right over here. Yeah, there it is. Because now we're going by vision because we know what pieces we need. So let's get this all cleaned up. Yeah, some of these are just slipping right off. Let me see. Make sure that we got this correctly on. Okay, tab into slot. Put the fist on. We'll put the other thing on later. Wait, got the arm on upside down. And we tab this in. Make sure we got the piece in correctly. Okay, this is going to be the part where I'm going to need to check the instructions to make sure I got this right. So it assembles. Oh, come on, don't do this to me. Like so. Like so. Slide that into place like so. Got a little piece of scrap there we got to throw in there. Slide that in like so. Push that in. And what do we need for his hand? We need 8 from I1. So we need... oh wait, that's the wrong one. We need 8. So we need to snip and snip. Because that piece already came off, so... oh, crud. Hang on. Looks like we have a spam bot in chat. Let me just deal with that real quick. Okay, that takes care of that. I hate when... it always seems that anytime I look at chat for Twitch, there's always a spam bot at least once. Okay, so we got the upper torso all done and ready to go. So now let's hold this up a bit so we can get to the leg section. Okay, so we need B1. B1. Okay, A got pushed all the way over here. That's B2, F1, B1. Okay. So we need 18, 19, and 20. Simple enough. Wait a minute. I feel like we're missing. Oh, yeah. The pelvis isn't built until after the legs, apparently. Usually in a 30-minute missions kit, you build the pelvis and then you build the legs. But then again, the pelvis is part of the torso. And here, it looks like the pelvis is saved for last, which is kind of weird. Okay, we got that trimmed off. You're getting there. Yeah, sometimes with these nippers, you have to make sure that any little bits aren't stuck in the blade, or else you're just going to have trouble cutting. Also make sure your fingers are out of the way too, because these things are sharp. And again, I've never cut myself with nippers. I have cut myself with an X-Acto knife, however, and that's never fun. Okay, let's see. So, little notch goes this way. So it goes like this. And so this is so he does the split, so it fills the gap. We put those together, and there's his upper thigh. Okay, now we do his lower leg, which is 22 and 21. Okay, so it's these two pieces right here. Snip, 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 snip. And we also need 12 and 13, which are his ankle joints. So 12 and 13. I also really do like when Bandai does these kind of joints because they are not as frail as other joints I've dealt with. Wrist joints for most girlpla are, oh my gosh, I am so cautious anytime I'm assembling a wrist joint because those things are breakable. I've actually had to permanently shelf a model kit, which was, I believe, an Attack Girl model kit, because I broke off every single one. I broke off like all but one of my wrist joints on that thing, and I cannot find replacements right now for that thing because I really need to replace the wrist joints. Whereas Bandai, they feel more durable, and not only that, but when we get to the 30-minute sisters, they do it in like this diagonal slice through it instead of like the vertical where the pegs are on each side, where it's like the peg is a little bit more secure, so you don't have to worry about snapping it. Okay, so the joint goes like that. Ah, crud. Screwed that up. So much for getting through this quickly. Yeah, have an X-Acto knife just in case things go wrong and we have to either really have a thin blade to get some of these parts separated, or if a little bit just doesn't want to come off properly. Okay, so that goes in first. And then we put that over it. Okay, that's pretty secure in there instead of just plugging it in like I usually do with kits like this. Okay, we need A16. I'm able to tell which one's the A runner due to the gold on it. Okay, so we need 16. Not 15, but 16. So snip, 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 And we need B1 again, which has our 16, 15, and 17, which are right here. Okay, I'm going to have to be careful because 15 and 16 look very similar. I have to clean these off like so. Okay, so we do... Oh, my head hit the camera there. Okay, so we clip off 15 and it goes on the bottom of the leg. And 16 goes on top of the leg. Snip, snip, snip. Okay, so 16 goes here. And we snip this clean and put it right below there. We plug this in right here. And then we clean up the upper thigh. Thigh is usually where you're going to really mess up on cleaning the nubs. Usually when I do a 30-minute sisters, you either leave the nub or cut so deep that it leaves these gouges. Thankfully, I haven't gotten that right now, so thankfully that's good. Okay, so we're almost done with one leg. Okay, so we need C2. That's D2, G2, I, B, F. Okay, there's C2. We need 8. Okay. And some of those pieces just fell right off. Okay. Okay, so the kneecap goes in like so. And then we need G3, 7. So that's D. That's C. That's I. G3. Oh, that's a really tiny piece. Really tiny piece. Okay, thankfully I was able to catch myself there. Oh, this is really tiny. I gotta be careful. If I don't cut this right, it's just gonna go flying off somewhere. Okay, so we need C2, 6. I figured this was his ankle cover. And there we go. Let's see, what angle does it have to be? Okay, gotta be like that. Gotta straighten up his ankle there and slide that on like so. Now we need runner A, which will give us 19 and 18. Snip, 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 snip. Okay, so do we need anything else besides that? Don't think so. We need 11 and 14. So there's 11 and 14. There we go. So carefully clean those pieces up. And where's that last piece? There it is. Gotta make sure I cut this properly because there's a little peg here I don't want to cut off by accident. Okay, so this goes like so. These snap together like this. Okay, I have to get this lined up properly or else it's not going to go in properly. There we go. Snap the foot together like so. And finally, we have our leg. And now we do pretty much the same thing. Because now we know which pieces we're looking for. We just got to reverse engineer. We just got to do it all over again. Stress mark right there. Not really visible on camera, but I can see it. Well, I guess our luck has run out on that front. Okay. Just keep an eye out for all those little pieces I need to snip. And make sure I don't lose them in the process. Let's see. Gonna make a really wide cut here so I don't lose the part by accident. come on. There we go. Because it seems like B2 just mirrors a bunch of the pieces of B1, so it's kind of easy to figure out where we need to go for certain pieces. Okay, there we go. Yeah, just trying to figure out which pieces are the ones we need, because let me think. We need 18 and 19, which are right over here. Come on. This one's being a little sticky. Well, not sticky, just tough. There we go. Okay. I'm not going to cut out the knee parts because those I have to be very careful about cutting them out so I know which orders are supposed to go in. Okay, we are getting pretty close to the finish line here. Oh, we got a little stress mark there. And snip. Yeah, some of these little bits are just snapping off without me even trying to cut them because they're just so loose on there. And this one's going to be the really dangerous one. It's such a small piece. Okay, I'm just going to put this one together right away so I don't accidentally lose it. There we go. Oh, come on. It's still on the blade there. Okay, we're making good progress. Gotta be careful with this section. Make sure I don't accidentally snip off something I don't need to. Okay. Got that snipped off. And there we go. One more piece and that just came right off. Okay, now that we've got that cleaned up, we can start putting this thing together. Okay, the other piece of the leg is right here. I got that backwards. There we go. Then ankle joint goes over like that. Oh, almost lost that. Okay, so foot goes right here. And then, let's see, this goes in like so and snaps on like that. We got the lower leg done, which I say we're doing pretty good on the speed there. Okay, so gotta make sure I got this piece in correctly. That goes in. That goes in like so. Then plug in like that. Now for the knees, which is going to be the pain in the butt part. Let's see, we need 17, which is right here. We need 15. Which goes up here. We need 16, which now goes on the bottom, and that was barely hanging on the runner. So we snip these off. Make sure any excess plastic does not stick in the blade, or else we're going to have trouble cutting. Okay, there we go. And then finally, we put the kneecap in. And we got both legs done. Okay, now for the torso. And we need this. So we need 12, which is right there. And we need B1, 5. And B2, 5. Yeah, B1 and B2 are just mirrors of the same thing. It's just that B1 has more pieces on it. Okay, so let's get this cleaned up. Getting pretty close to the end here. Okay, so upper tab like that. And that is how it goes. Now for the pelvis, which I've already figured out what those are going to be because most obvious shape. Okay. Once we get this assembled, we can actually get the legs on. Okay, so it goes like this. So snap this together like so. And of course we're going to pop in the legs so we don't have them flopping around all over the place. Not floppy at all. Nice, sturdy. No polycaps, because polycaps actually fail over time. Let's leave that apart until we get the belt on. So we need 35 and 36. Whoa, that just popped right off. Yeah, that was barely hanging on the runner at all. Let's see, that's 35. A little tab, we got to make sure we don't cut off by accident. So belt goes on like this, I think. Now we cut out 36. Those, gotta be careful because I don't want to cut off that tab on the front. Snip, snip, and then we put the other side of the belt on like so. So that's the back of the belt. Now we need the front. We have two options here. We have just the regular one, and we have the Titan one, which we have as 39. And we are doing the Titan one, so what I'm not going to be doing is I'm not going to be putting the clear plastic piece into the belt because, as I said, I'm going to paint this, and this piece in particular, it looks like it's going to be very hard to get back out if I put it in. Like, there's no way I can push it out from behind or anything like that, so I am not going to be putting the clear plastic piece in there at all. I'm going to wait until I actually paint this up before I even do that. Same with the reason why I'm not putting stickers on, because I'm going to paint this up anyway. So, put the belt on like so. If this was just the standard Titan form belt, that would just be it, but this isn't the Titan form belt. This is the Rising Titan belt, so there we go. You have two more pieces to add on. And I believe they're right here. 14, which goes on top. So we snip this carefully because there's a bunch of detail that I can actually ruin if I'm not careful with my snippers. So that goes on top like so. Okay, the thing that flew at me was just a nub. It wasn't the, whew, that was close. Okay. So that goes on the underside like so. As I said, we're leaving the belt without the crystal in the middle because I plan to paint this, and if I put it in, it's going to be very hard to get back out. Oh, okay, I need to look up on this here because I think I'm not getting the pegs lined in correctly. Yeah, they are not going in correctly. Yeah, I'm just tinkering with this off camera until I actually get the pieces in. There we go. Belt is in. Snap the torso on. And we now have the Rising Titan Kuuga. We put him on the stand for now. But we're not done yet. That is just the body. We still have the accessories to build. So where are his accessories? Here we go. So let us see. We are going to need to... Okay, to put the swords in his hand, we have to build the holding hand swords around... the holding hands around the swords. Okay. But we're going to just build the swords first and then concern ourselves with the holding hands later. So we need 6 and 8 and 9. So 6 first. 6 and 8 first. I'm going to clip out 9 for later. And we also need 7. And 10. Okay, so that's going to get us the first sword. Okay, we put it in the track like so. Oh, it popped out of the track when I put down. Okay, we almost got this thing cleaned up. Okay, so we're going to put this in first. I'm going to cut out section 9. Because I want to sandwich these pieces together when I put piece 6 in, because it's just going to pop out again as soon as I set it down. So we put this in like so. And then tap this together like so. And that is the Titan sword. And we slide this in. Put that over it. And okay, let's just clean that up first. Okay, that's one sword done. Now I gotta do the other sword. Okay. And we need the purple pieces. Snip, 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 and we have completely emptied a runner. Let's see. Okay. Going through the cleanup phase. Okay. Yeah, just trying to breeze through this as quickly as possible because we are getting pretty late in the evening. We're also almost done here. There we go. So we put this right here. Sliding mechanism in place. Sandwich the sword together. Put on the extension. Oh, wait. Okay, there is a angle it has to go in or it doesn't go in properly. Okay, so now we need F3. I'm just gonna put the runners we don't need on the floor because I just need to get them out of the way. Wait a minute, C and D. Okay, so 11 and 12 are for the hands there. Okay, so we need that. We don't need this. These are the holding hands. So we can just get all this out of the way. And we're going to take his hands off. So let us get his holding hands built. So we need 3, 4, and it says it's part C, but it is I-12 because the instructions show how to build the closed hand. The opened hands that require that piece. Yes, I kind of have to swap out the backs. Okay, so we keep snipping that excess off. We put the sword in his hand. We put the thumb over it like so he's holding it nice and secure. Next we need, okay, 12. So we need this right here. Okay, snip. Snip. And the fact that his thumb's the only thing that's holding that in is kind of iffy. Because that seems like something I can pop off if it's not a secure hold. Okay, we got one holding hand done. Let's get the other one on. And that is another runner completely empty. And we got a few bits that missed the box here. So, snip. 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 And then we also need this piece right here. Another runner empty. Yeah, I'm pretty sure next time I do a build stream, I'm going to save it for like a day where I can do it like earlier in the day, so I'm not doing it so late at night. Because it's getting pretty late. It's almost 11 where I am, so. And put the thing in the back of his hand. And get in there. We are, for the most part, done. As I said, I'm not putting that crystal in until I actually get this thing painted up, but yeah. That is the full Kuuga Rising Titan form. You didn't have to need the extracto knife to clean it up any further than what we were able to do with the single-bladed nipper, so that's actually a pretty good build, I have to say, for myself. That is a really nice looking one, but still, I have to paint it, so. Okay, that seems a little. That seems a lot more loose than it is on the other side. Maybe I didn't have it in there properly. But yeah, that's our build stream for tonight. I'll probably build the standard Titan parts off stream because that would have just taken way too much time. I mean, I tried, but it's getting pretty late and I didn't want to make this any longer than it actually has to be. And next time I do a build stream, it's probably going to be on a day where I can start like mid-afternoon and actually dedicate more time. Maybe actually do breaks too, so I'm not just pushing through this. Yeah, this kind of kit I can actually do in one sitting because it's not that complicated. A 30-minute missions kit also I can probably do pretty quickly because a lot of the earlier kits were indeed 30 minutes or less to build them. Something a lot more complicated like the one I'm saving for later, that one's going to take quite a few hours, so it's going to be something that I'm going to hold off for until later. Until then, let me get my gloves off because they're all sweaty and whatnot. I'll see you guys again next time. So, later, and I'll let you guys know on social media next time I'm streaming because I'm not sure if it's going to be, if I'm going to be doing my build stream next or if I'm going to be doing a game stream. But again, we shall see. Later. Hang on a minute. I have something I need to fix on my computer. Okay. I just had to get something prepared for when we go out. So I'll see you next time.